There is only darkness for you, and only death for your people.
Alright, hey guys, it's Devil Spawn. I've got my Stam DK build here. Y'all have been asking for it. This is what I run most commonly out in Cyrodiil. I am testing a different setup at the moment, but in most of my videos this is what you're seeing. So we'll get right into it. Race, I prefer Argonian and Nord as my top two. Number 3 being Orc. All three of those are very strong. I feel like Argonian is best all-rounder though. Mundus, we've got the Warrior, and food I'm running Artaeum. You can run Artaeum or Trifood, I'll get into that in just a minute. So, Bloodspawn, if you're not running Bloodspawn, you're not doing DK properly. Don't bother with Slime, don't bother with 2 1 pieces, run Bloodspawn. You're almost always going to be at a deficit if you're not running Bloodspawn. Next set is Fury. Fury's quite obvious. If you've been playing DK long enough, you know Fury is, you put Fury on and you don't take Fury off. That's all there really is to be said about that. So we got 2 Fury pieces here and here, and then I also have Fury Jewels. They're all robust. If you want to, rather than running Artaeum, if you want to run Trifood, you can run 2 robust and then 1 infused cost reduction. That does also work very, very well. It puts your magic up at like 15k, which for 1vx using your utilities is really nice. Our third set is Hunding's Rage. Believe it or not, this set is super basic, super consistent, and it just gets the job done. The nice thing about this is actually the 2 lines of crit. Crit is the most underrated stat in PvP by a pretty good margin. Not only is it a really strong offensive stat, but it's also a really, really good defensive stat for crit heals. When your crit vigors are hitting you for like 4k, yeah, getting those crit heals are nice. For our weapons, this is where the build kind of takes a turn from what your normal build is. Fury is actually my backbar set. It's not something where you have to go and proc it like you would with like Alchemist or Ravager, or any other backbarable set. But we have it backbarred with a Maul. Very important, run Maul. Don't run Greatsword. You can use Axe if you want to, but I prefer Maul. And double dot poisons. You can run Disease or Shock here if you'd like, but these are my preferred choice. And then the final set is actually VMA Sword and Board. This is quite possibly one of the most underrated 2 pieces in the game by far. If you're heavy attack weaving, which on a low sustain Stam DK, you probably should be. I've got 1k regen with Artaeum. You aren't going to sustain if you aren't heavy attacking, so get your heavy attacks in. Make sure you're bash weaving that heavy attack as well. Just keep that left click down, or I think it's right trigger on console. Right into skills, we got Reverb. Kind of douchey, I know. You can run Fossilize or D-Swing for your CC if you'd prefer, but if you're outnumbered in Cyrodiil, you should be taking advantage of everything you can be. Vigor, Heroic. Deep Slash is also a really, really strong ability. It's just I like the old gen from Heroic, but I have played with Deep Slash and it's very strong for outnumbered debuffs. We got Fragmented Shield. Quick note about this, pop your Vigor first and then do your frag. Unless you already have Vigor ticking, then you can just hit frag whenever. Dragonfire Scale. You're only able to run this if you keep the VMA Sword and Board. If you don't have VMA Sword and Board or you don't want to get it, you can run the DSA weapons or just run a Hunting Sword and Board. And then we have Corrosive. You can run Sword and Board ult here if you'd like, but the ability to kill tanks and things that otherwise would be too tanky for you to kill, this opens up some really big opportunities for you. I do use it as a defensive ult occasionally, but it's also very, very easy to die inside of it because while 3% of your damage doesn't, or 3% of your health doesn't sound like a lot of damage, with all the dots that are rampant in Cyrodiil, you can die quite easily inside of Corrosive. So next we have Forward. This is getting nerfed to 4 seconds next patch, so you might consider the other Morpho Wings and Rally. I'll still probably run Forward, but I might swap the Morpho Wings that I'm using just to accommodate. Either way, it's going to be a really solid ability. We got Venom Claw and Noxious. Now I prefer to hit my Venom Claw first because it's so cheap. That because Templars, you'll see if what their knee-jerk reaction is with Purge. If they're going to auto-purge, they're probably going to do it before you get off the Noxious, because you're heavy attack weaving, so there's a reaction time for them. So you're going to hit this Venom Claw, and if they do just purge it, you're not out a bunch of resources like you would be with Noxious. So that's how I like to do that most of the time. I only really like to hit Noxious if I am going in for a burst. If the target is tanky, I'll keep it on them just for the sustained pressure, but generally in a turn and burn situation, I'm only hitting this when I need to, because otherwise your sustain is taking a pretty big hit. We got this here for Nightblades. Just pull them out of stealth if you can. Doesn't mean they're going to stay out of stealth, but Stam Blades, they shouldn't have too much mag. You might be able to keep them out. Now for Executioner, some of you guys might prefer the Reverse Slice Morph, which is understandable, but for solo duo, I prefer Executioner because you're confirming that kill. You're on a DK, which is naturally a pretty low damage class, so every little bump in damage you can get, especially to confirm a kill in 1vx, you want that. For our second ult, we have DB. You could run Leap here, and I generally do run Leap, but for solo play, this is by far the better ult over Leap, as much as I hate to say it. I just prefer Leap to style on people, really. So, there's that. Right into CP, we've got 56, 42, 56, 32, 32, 32, 10. This is nice to balance out your DK passives, that 3k spell resist you have. This won't completely balance it out, but you're getting a pretty nice tankiness for the investment. 1 point in Siphoner, just so Templars have to purge. Because, you're a dot-based class, Templars are annoying. Warlord, Bashing Focus, Mooncalf. Only put this in here if you're running the Artam/Dubious version of the build. Don't put this in here if you're running the Tri-Food version. Tenacity. Befoul, you can take these out of here if you feel like this is a douchey thing to do. Feel free. It's just when you're outnumbered, you have to realize that you're probably having this ran against you. So, yeah. I mean, if you want to be a saint for the Zerglings, go ahead. 12 points in roll dodge. I only really roll dodge if I'm trying to get to line of sight, and then you might see me do it like twice in a row, depending on how far away from said line of sight I am and how much I'm being pressured. So kind of nice to have some points in there. You could also have your shield be well fitted. I have done that in the past, and it's pretty nice because generally if you're getting pressured like that, you're on your sword, you're on your sword board. So it does give you some nice survivability. Block, you can also have your shield be sturdy depending on which one of these you're doing more. I do tend to, if I'm getting pressured, I'll use block as kind of a burst heal. I know you're probably thinking, what, block doesn't burst heal you? But if you hit your healing combo, which is Vigor, Igneous, and then you just throw a block for about 2 seconds, you'll actually see your health chunk back up. So, real nice combo to use. We got 37 in Blessed. 6 in Physical Weapon Expert. You don't have to have these here, but I feel like 4% on your light and heavy attacks, especially with how much I'm heavy weaving, is a nice, good solid chunk of damage. Got 52 in Master Your Arms. This brings up a really good point. Make sure you're putting that 1 extra point past the jump point, otherwise you're going to get rounded down to 18%, or whatever said flat integer is. So make sure you're getting that 19.24. We got 12% in Thou, 17%. 3.2k piercing, and 12% in mighty. So that concludes the CP, and I believe that is everything for the build. I left out the potions. These are the best 1vx potions you could possibly use. If you don't like lingering health pots, or you think they're cheesy, or whatever other argument you can make against them, you can run weapon crit pots. I do run these occasionally. especially in BGs. These are nice to use. This isn't specifically an OCP build. I've got something else for that, but like I said, these are my secondary pots. These put you at 41% crit on your 2H. So when you're going for that burst combo, having 41% crit and heavy armor with 5.4k weapon damage, yeah, you burst pretty hard. Anyways, I think that covers everything. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And then let me know how you guys think of the intro that I made up. It took me quite a while to make, so hopefully y'all can appreciate it. Anyways, hope you all have a good day, and catch you next time.